What's up, you guys? Slim here at Team Symmetry, here with my next installment of Slim Psychology. This one is going to be on Heroes. Now, Heroes is a deck that has been around for quite a long time. It actually really got, hyped and introduced when, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX came out. Everyone knows and don't deny it. You saw the show at one point or another. Jaden used Heroes, Elemental Heroes, Avion, Burstinatrix, what was that one? Sparkman, and then there was the other one. And you guys know that that was really the real start of Heroes. For people to really see them, it was on the show. And then of course the cards came out. Stratos being the promo it was, being as broken as it was. Back then when Stratos was at 3 for a very short period. I don't know if anyone even remembers that, but there was a period where Stratos was at 3 before of course it went to 1. But yeah, the deck has. Over the format and over, all the sets that have come out, is one of those decks that has seemed to be getting better and better as, time has gone on. And, it's been proven at a lot of events, a lot of these recent events. I think, the main highlight one was for Joe Giorlando, who, top forward at YCS Long Beach with his hero variant. And, he brought it all the way, to the Final Four. And it was, it was crazy. He did lose to Dark World, but Heroes is an amazing deck, and especially with the no priority thing now, this is one of the decks that didn't get hit. This deck really doesn't have, I believe, has no cards that need to call priority, so this is a very viable option right now. Just going to get into some of the basics. As you can see, I have the stuff here. Everyone knows Stratos extremely. This is all basic stuff. Stratos is your ace. Being able to open Stratos or, E-Call or Rhoda into Stratos is key. Getting Stratos' effect off. I mean, they might Veiler you now that people are running Veilers, but at least you get a summon on board, and, it's great. Stratos is your main one, and, of course you're going to search out your aliases. Now, Alias is one of the most versatile, I think, monsters in the game, just because of all the things it can do, especially with Gemini Spark. One reason why this deck is so good is, of course, because of Gemini Spark and Hero Blast. These are the main cards I'm going to talk about afterwards, but before that, just get into a little more basics. Everyone knows Alias is hard to deal with, 1900 beater. It is a normal, you cannot Fiendish Chain it. So this really sticks out when you're playing against decks that do main like Fiendish Chain and other cards. And, when they try to bottomless or torrential you, you're able to chain Spark, tribute it, get it to graveyard, which is where you want it to be. Sets up a lot of your plays. And it's just a very hard card to get around in general. Plus, it is a light target, so, of course, it's honestable. And it's just, it's really great. And Alias has just been one of those cards that, has seen a lot of play. The OCG loves Heroes. They're amazing with Heroes. And it's one of those decks that I don't think is ever really going to die out. I think as the format goes on, it's just going to get better and better. But Alias, is your key. One, along with Stratos. I don't really see a lot of other heroes these days. It depends what variant of the deck you're trying to make. I know a lot of people have tried different variants, based on what their playstyle was. I think one of course the newest ones is the Bubbleman one, and the bubble beat, bubble OTK, whatever it is, where you go into your Blade Armor Ninja. And, Bubbleman's great. If you can top deck it when you have no cards, it's amazing. You +2. It's great. But you don't really use Bubbleman for that. You use it for the other ability where you control, when you have, no cards in hand. You can just special it, and, it sets up with Alias. You do your Exceed, and, you bring out your Blade Armor. If it all goes through, that's 44. You've just set up your Alias Engrave, which is where you want it. You can Miracle Fusion to guarantee the OTK. And it's just really... it's just a really versatile play. Now, a lot of people don't like Bubbleman. Some people say that you should just stick to Gemini Stun. I think it just depends on player preference, because I do like Bubbleman. I do like the Bubble Beat deck. It does run only 7 monsters, it being the 3 Alias, the Stratos, and 3 Bubbleman. But it does depend on player preference, and I think that it's just a really good card in general. It just depends on what your, I guess, goal with the deck is. And then, there's a lot of other things. I'm not going to talk about the staples that you include in the deck, but just a couple quick highlights. You got to run your dualities. It's iffy. Some people like 2, some people like 3. They say 3 is needed for consistency, because this is one of those decks that runs a very low count of from monsters, and you need to be able to duality into your answers. Duality into an e-call or a rota is always great, because you can then search, or if you open with e-call, you e-call first, get your Stratos, get your alias, pot of duality, you've thinned your deck out, you've got some of your answers, and you're able to set up your plays. So it is really key to run, I think, 2 to 3 duality. I like 3, but that's just me. And then, of course, the very basics, e-call and rota. Player preference, a lot of people do 2, some people do 1 and 1. I like 2 and 1 just for the fact that, rota is another way to search, pretty much every monster in the deck. But e-call is always good too. And another thing you can always do is you can always bluff with these cards. If you don't really need them, you can set them, your opponent might MST them, and then they've really just minus themselves, like, in reality. So they're good cards in general, plus they just add to the consistency of the deck itself. And then I guess it just depends, like I said before, depending on what deck you're trying to make, like what your goal is with heroes. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to go for the bubble beat? Are you trying to go for the Gemini stun? What exactly, I guess, is your goal? And, a lot of different decks will play, the generic cards, but some of the hero decks will, just stick to all heroes. And then like Joji Orlando did, he included, the Thunder Kings and the Barbaros. Reason being is Thunder King is, of course, a light target, so it's perfect for Miracle Fusion. It's a very hard card to answer. Like, if you start with Stratos, and, not Stratos, if you start with Thunder King and a couple back row, it's really hard to answer because Thunder King can just, like, negate your stuff. You can't add cards to hand. It's really good. Like, if you can, set up your plays, duality, and, set your back row, summon this, it's really hard for your opponent to answer. Really good against Rabbit, really good against a lot of decks. Not that great against Insector, but if you have back row protection, so you're pretty safe for the most part. And then, Beast King was his thing that he did with the deck. Reason being is because he did do the skill drain variant. That's what I also wanted to get into, is with this deck you can go skill drain based because none of the heroes are affected by that except Stratos, but you would never summon Stratos with skill drain face up on the field unless like you had a reason to. But, you do that, you get your plays, you get your alias to hand, and then you can flip skill drain, and then your opponent's pretty much locked down. That's like how they beat Insectors. They beat them with, the skill drain plays, the Hero Blast, the Sparks, everything like that. And like I said, it just depends on player preference. If you're going to do the skill drain variant, you usually will run these cards. Another card that I know heroes have been running, I've seen it a lot in the OCG, not so much here yet, and it might just be because of, how they like the card, but Photon Thrasher. People don't know what this is. It's basically a Cyber Dragon. It's just a level 4, and you can normal it if you don't control any monster, or you can special it if you control no monsters, but it can attack. But I mean, it is good with skill drain because it's an in-hand effect, so you can't, like Cyber Dragon, so you can still special it, you can normal a hero, and you can deal 4,000 to the face already if your opponent doesn't have like anything. So it's a really good card. It's also searchable by Rhoda. If people don't know that, it is a warrior, and it just sets up really nicely for the blade armor play. It's just player preference though. I've tried one. I like it. It just depends, I guess, what the goal of the deck is, like I said before. So these are just some of the monsters that you would run probably in the deck regardless, depending on like what variant you'd make. And then I guess like the last couple things to highlight are, of course, the Miracle Fusions. Some people do 2, some people do 3. People do 3 because of consistency issues. Again, consistency is a big thing with this deck. And Miracle Fusion really is needed because against Rabbit, like, you can bait them out with like certain plays, and then you can trump them with Miracle Fusion. And sometimes you can have 2 or 3, and it can really be the difference between you winning and losing. So like I said, player preference. I mean, I personally like 2, but I could see myself running 3 just for, like I said, that consistency issue. It's it's just a great card. It's a broken card, obviously. And then like other things that you can do is, depending on what Gemini what way you're trying to go, you can run Endymion, or you can run Chevalier. Chevalier, they're pretty much identical. There's no real difference between the two of them except what they can miracle out. And one, I guess, advantage to Chevalier is it's searchable by Rhoda. So, like, if you have Rhoda and, like, a Spark, you can set up by getting the Chevalier and getting the Spark. They're both sparkable, so it just depends, like I said, what your goal is. Do you want to make Shining, or do you want to make Nova Master? So just player preference once again. And I guess, like, the main part of, like, the psychology part of this video is these 5 cards right here. These cards make the deck, and this is just something I've noticed. I have not been playing Heroes competitively. I've practiced with it a lot, but this is what I've noticed. These cards here are broken. Reason being, they answer some of the biggest problems in this game. Gemini Spark is amazing, as long as you have Alias, of course. you know, being able to chain it to a bottomless, chain it to a torrential, chain it to a D prison, a mirror force, whatever it is, getting rid of another card, drawing a card, that's amazing. Like, there's no substitute for this card. This card is great. So, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory, like I said, but this card is just amazing. And these two cards combo so nicely together. Being able to spark your alias, get it in the grave for Hero Blast. This is how you beat Inzectors. You disrupt Inzectors, summoning, and their effects with Gemini Spark and Hero Blast, and you win because of it. Because they're not able to get around a 1900 beater unless they're running the sword, and even then, you can always disrupt a play. So, these cards are just key. Like I said, you guys know what they do. I don't need to explain them, but as you can tell, they are key to the deck, and almost every hero deck has to run them. If they're not running them, I don't know why, but these cards are just key. The numbers are pretty standard. You would never run less than 3 Spark. Hero Blast is player preference. Some people run 1, 2, and 3. It just depends, I guess, on what your goal is. I like 2. You see it enough, and you don't have that clunkiness that 3 can have, but sometimes 3 is needed. It just depends on how you play the game, because a lot of people play heroes differently. So that was pretty much it. I guess like the last thing is, of course, the most broken card ever, Super Poly. Oh my god, this thing is just broken. It rapes Rabbit. If people are wondering, you know, it rapes Rabbit. This guy says what's up to Lagia and Dolka. You know, like when you're trying to set up like other plays, I've seen plays that are crazy where guys trying to go for game and he flips the Super Poly and takes the Sabersaurus and makes Gaia. Takes the Cabazol and makes Ab-Zero. It's just, you know, this card by itself wins games. This card is amazing. This card isn't without his little flaw, though. You do have to discard, and I've talked to hero players. They say they hate having to discard because every card in the deck is needed at most of the time, but sometimes you can get away with it, and it really doesn't hurt you. And, I mean, you do get a fusion out of it, so it is really great. So Super Poly is broken. When the new Dark Hero, Iscariato, comes out, Dark World, say what's up. This card is going to be broken, even more broken than it is right now. And I guess that's pretty much it. I just wanted to do this video for all my subscribers who love heroes. In case you guys are wondering, Slim is a hero fan. I am not against the deck. I do like heroes. I do want to get better with heroes, and I think testing on DN, testing at school, all of this is going to, you know, benefit me as becoming a better hero player. My goal as a player is to get good with every deck I touch, and I feel that heroes is one that I definitely want to pick up. Probably in the next couple months, and hopefully it just works out. I hope you guys like this video. I really made this video just because of what my subscribers wanted, which is what I do pretty much with all my videos. And so I love highlighting the shinings. They're so cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys like this video. Like, the psychology aspect of heroes is really simple, you know. It's simple summoning, it's simple removal, it's just beat down when you need to control the game. You have control throughout most of the game, and, you know, just punish your opponent for bad plays and beat them down with the Shining. Like, that's really, like, all I can really get from it. I've played against heroes till I'm blue in the face. I haven't played with them that much, but that's what's going to happen in the future. But that's all I really wanted to say, you guys. I hope you guys like this video. You know, thumbs up this video, please. I'm really happy that you guys enjoy these videos and want to know my take on, like, all the main decks in Yugi land. The next ones I'll be doing, I know that I haven't done Inzectors yet. The reason being is I don't personally have the deck. I have to get it from a teammate, and I have to brush up a little bit before I make it, because he doesn't know this, but he'll hear this when he hears the video. I secretly do want to try Inzectors out. Not that they'd be something I would run, but they're definitely a deck I want to try out and see, you know, what if I can add my little, I guess, like, spark to them, so to say. So that's pretty much all I gotta say, you guys. Hope you guys like the video. You know, comment below anything you'd like to add about heroes, anything you'd like to see, any new text or stuff that's coming out. Just let me know. You know, like I said, I'll be on DN a lot more. You know, add me. It'll be in the description below with my, you know, my Facebook page and everything. I just hope you guys enjoyed this video, and the next psychology video will be on the way. So that's all I gotta say, you guys. Slim here at SlimXTeamSymmetry. Thank you for watching.